Okay, what I'd like to show you today is how to use Amazon widgets in your WordPress website. So I have a video and a link talking about simple product links and how to insert those, but today what I'd like to talk about is how to use some of Amazon's built-in widgets. These give your website a more professional look and can allow you in a small amount of space to share multiple products. So two of my favorite widgets are the carousel widget, which has a rotating carousel that can display a number of products at a time, as well as the slideshow widget. So let's just start with the slideshow. You select slideshow, you'll be brought to a page where you will want to find your first product or set of products. So if you, for instance, wanted to have a slideshow of cameras, you might look specifically under camera and photo, or you might just want to leave this as all of Amazon, and then perhaps in the search box you would put digital camera. Say go. It'll bring up a list. We see we have 5 pages of results. If you find the products that you're interested in advertising on your site, as you scroll through, you can add them. So I'm just going to add a few for an example. Now the slideshow doesn't appear to have a minimum number of items, whereas the carousel will require that you add at least 6 items. I'm going to add a few. Obviously a slideshow with only 1 item is not very interesting. So just again, for example, add those 3. We'll go to the next page, see what else there is. Maybe add a couple more. I'm not paying a lot of attention to the details of these. You would know what you want, which specific products you are interested in advertising. So we've got a number of products here that have been added. You can put comments if you wish. Your slideshow will have a heading as well, so I'm not going to add any comments here. I'll just go to next step. Now there's a few different options that you can choose for your slideshow. One that I like is the gallery. It will give you a large picture and it will cycle through. It also gives you, as you can see at the bottom, shows you a preview of all of the objects in your slideshows so that the user can jump to one of them if they're interested. Next thing to pay attention to is the size of the widget. If you're planning to put your widget, for example, in a sidebar, you'll want to know the width of your sidebar. I currently use a sidebar that has a width of 300, so I use that as my size. Then your effect, your transition, as you can see, they've got 3 to choose from. One where it just fades from one to the next. Another, it also fades, but it zooms in on the product. And a third, which, as you can see, slides the new product down in the window. They're all quite nice. I tend to use the zoom often. And you'll see you get a preview over here. Just gives you a nice zoomed in view of the item that you're advertising. You can change your transition speed. I usually leave it. I choose to shuffle the products. And then you can choose a background color. You've got a few to choose from. If you want to preview it, for example, choose pink as a background. You'll see it reloads and shows it. Okay, when you've got it the way you like it, you can save it and give it a name. I generally don't even bother with that. I just say add to my web page. And copy the HTML. So that's one way to copy it, just use the button. I could have highlighted the text and right-clicked, done a copy, or highlighted the text and do a Control-C for copy in Windows. Now I want to jump back to my post. I've just created an empty post here, practice post, and I want to insert the HTML code that I just copied. However, in WordPress, you do need to pay attention in the editor that you don't insert text or HTML code on the visual tab, because this means nothing in the visual window. So I want to get rid of that here. We want to go to the text tab, and that is if you're inserting it into the body of your post or page, and post it like that. Now we can move back to the visual tab to see what that would look like. And you can see I see nothing. Now obviously if I had done this with a simple banner ad from Amazon, I would actually see the picture, but you see nothing here. So there is an issue in this fact that it may be difficult for you to know now where is it safe to type text. So what I like to do is go back to the text tab, and I will put something around this script, just some information such as start, and then at the end I'm going to put a couple line feeds and put finish. And I'll do that until I'm done with my post, so that when I go back to the visual, I know not to write anything between the start and the finish, so that I don't mess up my my widget that I posted in there. Now I can see what I've done by going to the preview pane, and you'll see that brings up a new window in my browser. This is going to give me a preview of my post. Now that post, even though it was blank, it still had a header and it still has a sidebar, so you do see information here that was not in the editor. However, we also see the new widget between the start and the finish text, and you can see what it looks like. You can see as they hover over it, it gives them the price of the item. This is all fed directly to and updated by Amazon to your site, which is very nice. You can see that they can jump directly to an item in the lower part of this widget. They can scroll along the bottom to see all of the items if they're not all showing up on the bottom, and jump ahead of your slideshow. And then the next thing to note is if we actually follow the link, it would bring them directly to the page that describes that item and would allow them to add it to their cart and purchase it. And the other important thing to note is that up in the header bar of your browser, the link that they followed has a tag with my affiliate ID or tracking ID. If I go back to my Amazon account that we were looking at and close this out, go back, scroll back up, you'll see over in the left-hand column I'm signed in as FAMISTAP-20. That is my tracking ID. If we go back to the page that we just looked at, the preview page, I'm sorry, the page that it brought me to when I looked at the preview, it has as the tag my tracking ID. So that's very important to ensure that when you follow your links, your tracking ID is in the link, so that you will get credit for any purchases made when your visitors follow your link. One more thing to mention then. I had put this script, this widget script, in the body of my post, You might also choose to put it in a sidebar. If I scroll down in WordPress, I use what are called IntelliWidgets. It's a plugin, a very useful plugin I've found. So currently, as you saw on my sample page, there was already a sidebar which is inherited from my main template, but I can override my IntelliWidgets by adding a new profile. I could say override right sidebar, upper right sidebar 1, and with IntelliWidget I can go down here and say I want to display this text only, no posts, and in this box I can actually copy, Control V, the script that I had copied off of Amazon's widget page, and save settings, go back up and do a preview. It's taking a while to load here. Okay, and go to that page, and now you'll see not only do I have this widget over here in the body, but I also have it up here as my very first right sidebar widget. So, and that's where I like to put a lot of my ads, is on the sidebar. So that's the example of how to insert the Slideshow widget from Amazon. Just to go back and show you, if we wanted to go to widgets, look at how to set up the carousel. Okay, the same type of thing here. Let's say we're going to look up binoculars. There may not be that many binoculars, but we notice the carousel requires at least 6 products. So I'm just going to add the first 6 that I come across here. Just for demonstration. Okay, next step. You'll see it'll give you a preview in a second. That's what it looks like, and you can kind of play around with it. If you hold the button down, it'll rotate so the person can scroll through. It's a very nice effect on your page. If you're going to put it in the body of your page, you might want it horizontal like this, or you might, if you're going to put it in a sidebar, want it vertical. So you use the Ferris wheel selection or orientation. Also, you might want to change the title. I have right now it's by default My Picks. Maybe I'd say, you know, best binoculars. If I had selected the brands or the models that I liked and that I wanted to promote. Then you also want to choose the size. Now for a Ferris wheel, it has only 2 selections, depending on how much room on your page you want it to take up. Again, my sidebar is 300 pixels wide, so 160 will work for me. So you can save that and give it a name, or I just usually, you know, I'm creating these on the fly, and I will just say add to my web page. It will give me the HTML script. I'll copy that and go back to my post. Now I'm going to just change the sidebar that we just looked at. So I'm going to change my right sidebar. Number 1, I'm going to get rid of all the text in this box and do a Control V to paste the new script. Save my settings, go back and do a preview. Now again, I could have also gone to the text tab for my editor and put that same widget. In fact, I'll do that right now. I'm going to do the carousel, post that script there as well. I'll put in carousel. Oh, can't spell. I'll put start carousel. So we look at our visual setting. We know that where we're starting and ending our widgets. You can write your text around this, but without interfering with your scripts. Now later, before you publish your page, you'd want to get rid of these tags. But for now, let's just preview the page. You can see it's loading. Wait for it to finish. Okay, so now we scroll down, we see we have a carousel widget over here in the right sidebar, which the user can click on these buttons to scroll through. You can also hover over any given item to get more details along with the current price. And if they were to click then on one of these items, they would go directly to Amazon, and you can see your tracking ID is in there. So you'll get credit if they end up making a purchase during this session. Go back to my page here. We also see carousel widget is placed in the body of my text. Now, probably in the body of the text, you would be more likely to use the horizontal orientation. But I hope that this has helped you if you're not familiar with using the Amazon widgets. They have other widgets to choose from, but you can select the ones that look the best to you or that you think will fit in best with your WordPress theme and your web page. All right, that's all for today. Thank you.